Right, so we are filming our first series of a podcast that's focused on women in tech and data. We are looking to tell your story, to understand your journey, and encourage more women to look at tech and data as a field that they should be going into. I'm joined today by Liz, who's the current AI and robotics lead at PwC and a champion for women in technology. So welcome, Liz, and thank you for being with me today. I really appreciate your time.
Thanks for having me, Nicole. Great to be here.
I'm not going to steal your thunder. So I think, can you talk us through your journey and how you landed up being where you are today?
So yeah, my journey started just under 10 years ago. After doing a business degree and an MBA, and realizing that I wanted to go into the tech industry and solve problems with tech. So I ventured into the tech space, doing some work experience to start with, and learning programming languages like Python and R, and to really get immersed into tech. And then I decided to join Accenture, who is a tech services company, and they threw me right into it. So I was asked to join the AI and robotics practice and be part of the emerging tech collective they were setting up at that time. And so I was at the forefront of, not just tech, but new and innovative and exciting technologies, and working with a plethora of clients to help them figure out how to use the tech and use it to solve real problems, from reducing costs across key operational areas to improving customer experience, but also enabling their people to do more. And after working with Accenture for a couple of years, I decided to join PricewaterhouseCoopers, where I am now, and joined to help them build their robotic process automation practice. And had great fun doing that for 2 years. And I've done many other things, from helping to build digital capabilities, so leading digital programs, and recently helping to drive AI and generative AI for our public sector business. So it's an interesting journey. I think it's definitely been driven by curiosity and passion for solving problems and just being at the forefront of using tech for good. And I always say that I'm privileged to have the opportunity to work with public sector organisations across the UK and support them with using tech, with improving the quality of the services they provide to the public across the UK, but more so using it to provide, using tech to provide quicker interventions, the NHS, for example, and helping exactly, and just basically driving social impact and outcomes as well.
Amazing. And when you look back on your journey, were there any women along the way, mentors or otherwise, that inspired you and sort of pushed you on this journey or helped you along to get where you are today?
Absolutely. There were a few women, definitely not enough, but some absolute powerhouses. When I was in Accenture, I was really, really inspired by Emma McGuigan and Zara, who both led the tech business at different points. And at PwC, I am absolutely surrounded by an army of role models, and not all of them necessarily do tech or are technologists, but they're very much at the heart of helping clients leverage tech alongside other things to transform their business. And so they've been, huge inspirations. And they've also been, they've also sort of kept me on, because it's been interesting sort of navigating the industry as one of very few very few women.
Yeah. And would you say that was an important part of you staying and growing in your career, was to have yourself surrounded by these other women driving you and pushing you along? I mean, we know there are some phenomenal men who do the same. So,
absolutely,
not discounting them, but how important are those mentors in your journey when you starting out, particularly?
I think they're really, really important. And I think, beyond just really looking up to them and learning from them, I've also built relationships with a lot of great women, and and I've run to them when I've got questions, when I need support, or when I'm just really struggling to navigate the industry. And I think one of the other things that is driving my determination to stay in tech and lead in tech is because I also want the next generation to have more role models. And I want people to, women coming after me to
Be
see
successful women.
Exactly, and sort of see like different representations of the positions and personas that women could take in the tech space.
I suppose that leads on nicely to the next question is what do you think we can do or can be done to encourage more women to look at STEM and tech and data as career choices in the future? Because there's still a very small pool coming through year after year. So is there anything you think that can be done now to encourage more women into the field?
Yeah, I think, the first thing would be demystifying tech. I think a lot of people still think tech is about hardcore coding. And that's just a small part of it. Tech is about solving problems. It's about innovation. It's actually more about thinking about how you can improve outcomes for people more than anything else. So I think we need to keep demystifying it. We need to make sure that people, particularly the younger generation, understand that as long as they're passionate about solving problems, and some of the other things I've mentioned, there's a role in tech for them. I think we also need to keep sort of nurturing role models and people that can bring the art of the possible to life, and be exemplars for what you can do in tech and where tech can take you. And I think the final element is also creating more roots into tech. I think we need more roots. I think it's great that we've got apprenticeships and things like work experience. But I think it'd be great to keep thinking of other ways we can get
diverse pools
of women, especially if they haven't necessarily gone down the STEM route, into thinking about tech and sort of diverting into tech roles.
And how do you think that can be done? So just, is it on the job experience, allowing a more diverse field of people to come and learn in businesses?
Yeah, I think that's a huge part of it. But I also think there needs to be sort of more outreaches to sort of schools and the education system. We need to make sure that in the classrooms there's the classrooms are used as platforms,
as learning grounds,
exactly, to raise awareness. We need to look at how we reinvent our curriculums and get girls more excited about tech. But I also think there's an element of parents as well, thinking about broadening the horizon and helping kids think about the different options available to them and the great things they can do with tech. I think with advances in generative AI and ChatGPT,
that's definitely going to help, I think.
I think so. I think, getting kids to use ChatGPT and interact with tech, chatbots and things that will get them excited, would certainly help as well.
And I mean, do you see any barriers still in place that stop women? I mean, anything that's obvious to you that stop women from getting into tech, or do you think it's just that generational gap that we need to bridge, or are there other barriers that you see as in place at the moment that stop women, young women, from getting into tech?
I think there's definitely the generational element, and I think that's going to evolve over time. But I think the other barriers are probably around well, stereotypes that still exist around tech and I guess the fact that men and boys are more akin to sort of technical roles and careers. And I think we see this stereotypes going to play out in different ways, from the sort of toys
Yeah,
that
from a young age already.
exactly, yeah, toys that are sort of marketed towards boys versus girls. So I think we need to kind of break down those stereotypes. And I think the other barrier is also, you know, probably around role models. So if kids don't have enough role models around them, enough women in tech who can inspire them,
Talk to them about
talk to
opportunities,
them
like you
about
say, that it's not just hardcore programming. There's
exactly,
so much around that.
exactly, exactly. And I think, you know, I think there's a major role for schools and the education system to play in breaking these barriers and making sure that, you know, kids have the right modelings in place to encourage them to get into tech.
I think we're all very lucky to have women like you who are doing a lot
Thank you, Nicole.
to
Very
get that
kind.
out. Last question from me, and just something that I would be interested to know is, I know ChatGPT and these types of tools are becoming enormous now. What else do you see as opportunities in the future that are going to shape data and technology, and that people should be keeping their eyes on?
I mean, ChatGPT, generative AI is certainly top of the list, but the other one is Web3, and some of the advances around that, and how that's really going to drive, you know, the e-commerce world, for example. Metaverse and virtual reality is another one. It's quite a big one. And then the fourth one that I mentioned is connected systems, it's Internet of Things, it's everything becoming connected and converging. And you know, you'd see that play out in things like smart homes, which I think could be really, really pervasive, and also just in how quickly you can sort of build systems that are intelligent and talk to each other.
Been some amazing innovation, so it's going to be exciting what the next year or two holds.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Liz, thank you very much. I'm going to share your profile on this podcast. So if anyone wants to reach out to Liz just to understand a bit more about what careers are available for women, how she can help with mentoring, her details will be in the link to this podcast. Thank you so much, Liz. Appreciate it.
Amazing. Thanks for having me, Nicole.